Hi, Matt with eTrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the Glacier Cable Tire Chains with roller links on the 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz. We're going to have them installed on our front axle as per what the manual says and recommends. But if your manual recommends something else, then I'd go with that. And they're going to be on our 245/60 R18 tires. I'd recommend these cables to anyone who's just going to be driving through a lot of light snow, or you really just need them in case of any emergencies. Our cable is going to be constructed from this low carbon steel, which is going to make it more durable. And it's also going to sit very low to our tire, so low that it's going to meet our Class S standard, and that just means it sits very far away from our wheel well, giving us plenty of room back behind here. We've had a lot of chains today come real close to our suspension, but this is going to give us a lot of room. These roller links on top here too are going to help us give us more of a smooth ride. So when we are driving through more of those snowy, bumpy areas, this is going to help with that a lot. And as for our pattern, it's going to be a ladder pattern, so that's going to give you a lot of traction when driving forward. And for how it installs, we're going to have this cable with these blocks on it, and it's going to go through this channel and hook onto the end there. Now if you do have a lot of excess cable popping through here, we're also going to have this block here that has this hole just to secure all that extra length that comes through. They're also going to come two to a set, and they're going to come in this small black bag. It's going to have this zipper on top just to secure it in there a little bit easier. My only complaint with the bag is its size, especially when you're going to be driving through a lot of snow, ice, and maybe rocks. With all that considered and trying to roll it back up tight enough, it might be a little bit difficult to get in here. So I'd recommend maybe just upgrading to a small tote eventually. Overall, if you're looking for something a little bit more entry level and just something to get you from point A to point B through more light snow and ice, then I'd recommend these to you. Now, for the installation process, it is pretty straightforward. All you had to do is get it through these holes, but if you do need a hand with that, just stay tuned and we'll show you how to do that. The first thing I'd recommend doing is just laying out everything so it's nice and flat, and so you can take a closer look at stuff. Just make sure there's no damages on your cable and nothing's tangled up. I'd also like to recommend you make sure everything's in the right orientation. So we want to make sure that these channels, the very ends of them, are facing away from our tire so they're not digging in, damaging them. We can put it on the tire. All I have to do is find the center of it, pick it up, and drape it over my tire. We want to make sure that it's centered so you don't have too much hanging on one side rather than the other. And once you have it there, just make sure the cable is kind of centered on your tire so it's not too close to touching your rim or it's not too high. We're going to just come back here and we're going to grab this channel and feed this cord with these blocks on it through the hole. I'm going to push about 4 of them through. Since I've already put this on, I already know how tight I need mine to be, but you might have to adjust accordingly for your tire size. If you can get both your hands in there, if you're small enough, that's going to make this process a lot easier. But if you're a little bit larger, then you might just have to try to do it with one hand. Just like that. And to hook it on up front, all we have to do is kind of pull everything in and feed that cord through that channel. And I'm going to try to get it on the third link. You might have to pull and wiggle it a little bit. But once you get it there, it should lock into place. Just like that. And with it situated there, you just kind of come back through, make sure everything feels nice and tight, and you can do the same thing on the other side. Now, if you are worried about your cables kind of loosening up as you drive, we do have these rubber tensioners. They're just going to secure onto your cables and make sure they don't loosen up as you drive. All you have to do is when you're installing them on your cables is make sure your hook is facing away from the tire so it doesn't damage it at all. I also like to make sure as I'm installing them, I kind of spread them out so they're going to tension all the way around our cable. You can back up some, pull forward some, just to make sure everything's very nice and secured on here, and make any adjustments if need be. But after that, you can take it for a spin. That will conclude the install and a look at some of the features of the Glacier Tire Chains on the 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz.